Judge Neil Gorsuch testified before the Senate at his confirmation hearing as it got underway yesterday.
If judges were just secret legislators, declaring not what the law is, but what they would like it to be, the very idea of a government by the people and for the people would be at risk. And those who came before the court would live in fear, never sure exactly what the law requires of them, except for the judge's will. As Alexander Hamilton said, liberty can have nothing to fear from judges who apply the law, but liberty has everything to fear if judges try to legislate, too.
San Diego attorney and lecturer at San Diego State, Dan Eaton, is on the KOGO News Live line. And Dan, you went to Harvard at the same time as Neil Gorsuch. What kind of judge is he?
Well, he's a very careful judge. I should say that he was 2 years behind me, so I didn't really know Judge Gorsuch at all. In fact, I have no recollection of him at all. But that was a weird class of 91 because it also included Barack Obama and, interestingly, also the Hawaii judge who just issued the injunction against Trump's second immigration order. But be that as it may, I've read quite a few of his opinions and a lot of background on him. And he's a very careful judge. He focuses very much on the text of the laws before him and the Constitution, and is a very careful applier of precedent. That's why the ABA rated him well qualified, which is its highest rating after all. So his qualifications really are not in dispute as a judge. There are broader issues that are in play in this confirmation hearing.
And expand on that a little bit. What are some of the broader issues?
Well, the important thing to realize is that unlike a case that comes before a court, which is a judicial process, the confirmation hearing is very much a political process. And so you would expect that the people on both sides of the aisle would try to make political points. The judge, I saw some of the testimony this morning and quite a bit of it yesterday, is focusing on the difference between a judge on the one hand and a legislator on the other. And a judge is really not a policymaker. He's designed that he or she applies the law as it comes before him or her. The general rule in these things, according to my former boss, Senator Arlen Specter, I used to work on the Hill many, many years ago before I went to law school, is that judicial nominees to the Supreme Court are going to say as much or as little as they need to say to get confirmed. And that seems to be the pattern that's repeating itself with Judge Gorsuch.
You know, what's interesting is he says, I'm not a Republican judge, I'm not a Democratic judge, but they lean conservative or liberal. So can you really say that you're not one or the other?
You can, because there's a difference between being a political conservative and being a judicial conservative. A political conservative appropriately takes into account the kinds of pressures that they get from constituents to rule one way or the other, and in addition, their general ideology with respect to dealing with political matters that come before him. When you talk about someone in terms of being a judicial conservative, generally that means that they tend to be very restrained in the way they apply the law and looking at the law and the Constitution and applying it to the fact, as opposed to those who might be considered judicially progressive, who tend to view the Constitution more as a living document. Senator Feinstein from California, who's a ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, made that very point when she said she views the Constitution as a living document. Originalists in the mold of Justice Scalia and some say Judge Gorsuch take a very different view, that the Constitution ought to be restricted to the original meaning it had at the time that it was ratified.
Dan Eaton on the KOGO News Live line, a San Diego attorney and a lecturer at San Diego State. That hearing is continuing to go on today.